1 week later, the apocalypse arrived. The players who'd maxed out their abilities were ready for action. 300 player names and IDs appeared on the public screen. I was number 99. Wang Teng was number 100. Liu Yanren was number 101. Attention, the apocalypse has begun. This game will keep running until only one player is left. Nobody expected the apocalypse to kick off with a worldwide downpour. Days of nonstop rain triggered massive flooding. Future Island got hit too. But the island was so small. The clouds moved on after 2 days. I didn't even have time to hole up in my underground bunker. Those ability users were all caught off guard. They'd arrived in this world broke too. All year they'd been training their powers while hustling to make money. The struggle goes without saying. The supplies they'd stockpiled were pathetic. Only a few players who'd used their powers for crime managed to land a villa. They built a shelter in the basement. The flood hit the basement first. All their supplies were ruined. The entire villa was swallowed by the flood. Some players had built shelters in underground garages. Those flooded out completely too. High-floor shelters were safe for now, but the rain wouldn't let up. The underground players' already meager supplies slowly ran dry. Everyone started freaking out. Meanwhile, I was munching on snacks and watching a live stream. The streamer was hiding behind the curtains, secretly filming the building across the street. A player was using fire powers to raid for supplies. Bro, this isn't special effects. Not cosplay, either. This is a real ability user. He used to be a security guard in our complex. Now he is burning through doors. This is his 10th robbery. The chat was blowing up. So ability users are actually real. Does that mean the apocalypse is here? Streamer, watch out. Once he is done with that building, he'll hit yours next. Is firepower reliable? Firepower, the player tipped off the NPCs. A swarm of SWAT officers rolled into the complex in rescue boats. They surrounded the building with guns drawn. The streamer's hands were shaking with excitement. Guys, this is my first time seeing a gunfight. This guard's fire is insane. He melted the steel gate in seconds. The SWAT team stormed the building. The gunfire was intense. Suddenly, a figure flew out from the rooftop and plunged straight into the flood. Not long after, I saw that player's name go gray on the global chat. That meant the player was dead. Right then, in the chat window, Wang Teng hit me up again. Mark, let's team up. Look, we're old classmates. Our numbers are right next to each other. If we team up, we'll definitely make it to the end. He shamelessly kept sending me video requests, but I kept ignoring him. If I teamed up with him and we were the last two left, he'd use mind control to kill me and win alone. Did he underestimate my intelligence? Or overestimate his own? Water and power were cut. Food was running out. 3 months of floods crushed the NPC's hope. Finally, someone couldn't take it anymore. They started taking desperate risks, looting and burning everywhere. Players mixed in with the crowd, searching for a way to survive. But abilities couldn't stay hidden. It caught the attention of the higher-ups. They issued a direct order to capture ability users. Anyone caught was sent to research facilities. Within a month, 30 players were posted on the public screen. Suddenly, players were like startled birds, everyone on edge. Meanwhile, I was living in a completely different world, checking on my vegetables now and then, gaming in my mansion, swimming in my pool. Future Island was basically paradise. I was living the good life. But good times don't last. I finally got sold out. Someone anonymously posted on the world chat. Player 99 is the world's richest person. They definitely built plenty of shelters before the apocalypse. Find player 99. And everyone survives. The long silent world chat instantly exploded. Player 99, show yourself. You're living it up alone, while hundreds of us suffer. So cruel and vicious. Yeah, eliminate players like that. Find 99, and we live. Everyone, charge. All the players went crazy. They couldn't wait to skin me alive. I just wanted to lay low in peace. But you had to call me out. I sent a message in the world chat. Everyone, calm down. I am player 99. You want shelters. I can provide them. But I only built shelters in 4 countries: Dragon, Eagle, Hans, and Kangaroo. And each shelter holds 20 people max. I marked 4 spots on the world map. You have over 200 people. There is no way you'll all fit. However, I'll give you the shelter passwords. First come, first served. Don't come after me. The moment I entered the password, every player went wild. If they reached the shelter first, they'd survive the flood. Overnight, some players had already arrived. Most had speed-based abilities. The shelter was built on high ground, safe from the floodwaters. When they opened the doors and went inside, it was like stepping into paradise. After all, I'd built these 4 shelters to be absolutely lavish. They had every amenity you could want. Freezers packed with frozen feasts. Player 58 proudly started live streaming on World Chat. Never expected the shelter. Never expected it to be this nice. Money really does buy happiness. Inside, they were eating steak and lamb, drinking red wine. The table was covered in delicacies. Player 58 said 12 people were already inside. They'd voted to lock down the Dragon Kingdom shelter. Resources were limited. No one else was getting in. Other players were still on the road. Seeing the stream, they lost it. Outside the shelter, players kept arriving in waves. Rather than drown in the flood or starve, they had to seize this lifeline. Survival instinct drove them to desperation. They begged those inside to open up, to let them in, but the players inside had already deadbolted everything, no matter how they pounded on doors and walls, or unleashed their abilities. They couldn't budge that sealed entrance. Just as the insiders were celebrating, I suddenly popped up and said, "Wasn't it supposed to hold 20? Can't 8 more still get in? I have another override code. Even with the doors locked, I can still access the interior. The hidden door is in the southeast. That decorative brick at the base of the wall. Turn it, and the hidden door reveals itself." The players outside rushed the hidden door like madmen. They turned the decorative brick. The ancient decorative brick. An actual hidden door appeared in the old wall. Players scrambled to get inside, fighting for those last 8 spots. One frail-looking girl was too slow, trailing behind. Then, vines burst from her arms, lashing wildly at the crowd ahead, instantly tripping a mass of players. The player with the blade ability quickly cut the vines beneath his feet, then spun around and fired a wind blade, slitting the vine player's throat. The blade player reached the door first, punched in the override code, and the gate swung open. He rushed inside, thrilled. Right after, another player used lightning strike to drop a whole crowd. The second player charged through the gate. But as the third player neared the entrance, a player on the ground latched onto his leg. The fallen player flashed a creepy grin, driving venom-coated nails into his thigh. The venom player had barely gotten up to flee through the gate when a steel-hardened arm punched through his chest from behind. One by one, players dropped dead at the sanctuary entrance. The will to survive stripped away their last bit of decency. So the abilities the system gave weren't for fighting zombies after all. They were meant to make them kill each other. The players inside the sanctuary couldn't sit still anymore. They all had rapid movement abilities, but clearly lacked any real fighting power. If they didn't seal the gate and let in players with higher combat stats, wouldn't they be sitting ducks? The Blade and Lightning players who had just burst inside realized this. They quickly teamed up and started going after the players outside. Right then, the numbers on the public screen shot up. Player deaths kept piling up. Human nature is the same everywhere. Brutal death matches broke out at the other 3 sanctuaries too. Across all the surveillance feeds, I couldn't spot Wang Teng anywhere. Then again, why would he ever go to a sanctuary? As luck would have it, Wang Teng messaged me right then. "Mark, look at us, we never even allied. Yet, we work together so smoothly. We were born to be allies. Have you no shame? Exposing my identity. Putting me in the hot seat, that was all you. Don't be so mad. If I hadn't cooked up that plan, how would we have sent those players to their deaths? You should thank me for clearing out your competition." As we were chatting, the sanctuary hit full capacity. The gate sealed shut automatically. Outside, blood ran like rivers. Those who hadn't made it in were still struggling in vain. The players inside were celebrating. They had no idea what was coming for them. I smiled. What could it be? I smiled and said to Wang Teng, "It is a shame you're not in the sanctuary." With that, I hit a button. In an instant, the 1,000 tons of explosives buried inside detonated. The shockwave even shattered the surviving players outside the shelter. After the explosion, the player count dropped by 116. Only 91 players remained. After a long moment, Wang Teng finally sent me a message. "I underestimated you. Thanks for the assist. Otherwise, gathering that many players in the shelter would have been nearly impossible. The players most likely to reach Future Island without planes or ships are now gone. I've been planning for a year how to take them all out at once. Those shelters became their graves. The shelter explosions couldn't make the news this quickly. The other surviving players had no idea what happened, but Wang Teng knew immediately, which meant he was watching everything from a distance. Then, the system sent me a message. Congratulations on becoming the player with the most kills. You receive an extra reward. I couldn't help but smile. See, in this apocalypse, it is always survival of the fittest. 4 months later, the floodwaters slowly receded, revealing the submerged land. Everyone breathed a sigh of relief, thinking the disaster was over. But they didn't expect that the flood had brought a plague. Many dead NPCs turned into zombies. Congratulations to the 101 players who cleared the first stage. Apocalyptic Flood. Next is the second stage. Apocalyptic Zombies.
Follow, like, comment, and share for part 3.